This is a CBS4 News Special Report.
This is Maribel Rodriguez live from the CBS4 newsroom with breaking news right now. Chopper 4 is live over a police pursuit there on the turnpike. You see that white Charger. Apparently this all started in Florida City. We don't know the circumstances as of yet. However, this has been going on for several minutes right now. Apparently it began in Florida City. This is on the turnpike. That driver is, as you can see, heading at a fast rate of speed on the turnpike, heading southbound, passing Cutler Bay and 212th Street. There you see he's on the left lane right now. Fortunately, at this point, there is not a lot of traffic right there on the turnpike, but we are told that police are not many police officers are on the turnpike at this point, but they are following him by air at this point. We don't know the circumstances of the chase and why this started, but we can tell you it started several minutes ago down south, way down south in Florida City. The driver of this white Charger, we don't know exactly how many people are in the car and why police are pursuing this car, but they have been doing so for quite some time now. Again, we're bringing these images to you live. If you know anyone who's in that area, if you are heading in that area, keep this in mind. This is southbound on the turnpike right now. We're seeing that driver is passing 288th Street. 288th Street on the turnpike, and police are not following him on the turnpike. They're following him by air. There you see him weaving in and out of traffic right now. This is on the turnpike, that white Dodge Charger. Police are pursuing this vehicle that apparently this started way down in Florida City. Again, we do not know the circumstances and why police are following this vehicle. This is in Southwest Miami-Dade on the turnpike. So we're told he went north. He made a U-turn, got back on to the turnpike, and there you see him. Some officers are on the side. It seems that they're trying to close in. The drivers that are in the area are trying to move and get away. Is at the emergency lanes right now. There you see him crossing all lanes, driving at a very high rate of speed, a white Dodge Charger that police are following. At this point, they're following him by air. Miami-Dade police are following him. We are trying to contact Miami-Dade police to figure out exactly what's going on and why they're following this vehicle. We can tell you this has been going on already for several minutes now, and we believe it may have started way down south in Florida City. Don't know the circumstances at this point. Okay, so once again, a police pursuit, or they're keeping an eye on this white Dodge Charger. Again, this is the turnpike. Can we tell where the car is at this point? Fortunately, right now there is not a lot of traffic, and police officers are not trailing behind him. They're following him by air. This is, can we tell exactly where he's at right now? We're waiting to see exactly the location, but we do know that he passed Cutler Bay. He got off, made a U-turn, and began heading north once again. There you see that white Dodge Charger. This is south of 288, still around that area, around Cutler Bay at this point. This is a police chase. Chopper 4 is live over the scene, keeping an eye on this Dodge Charger, as well as Miami-Dade police. They are following this car by air. Not on the turnpike. If they are, we haven't been able to see a lot of police officers. They're keeping their distance at this point. So right now they're just watching it. So if you are heading in that direction, this is what's going on. This is breaking news. Chopper 4 is live over the scene of this police chase. It seems like he's exiting. He's getting off the turnpike, and we're trying to figure out exactly where this is. This would be
down as you're headed toward the case?
This would be down. So this is south.
Southbound US 1.
Southbound US 1. So he made a U-turn, got back on the turnpike, and is now heading south, heading back to Florida City. And again, we believe this has not been confirmed, but we do believe this all started down there in Florida City, and that's the area where he is right now. So once again, this Dodge Charger, this has been going on for more than 20 minutes at this point. Police following him by air, a white Dodge Charger. We don't know exactly how many people are in this vehicle and why police are following this car, but we can say we heard this began several minutes ago. He appears that he's going into a parking lot. At this point, this is in Florida City, just right off the turnpike. It's a neighborhood right now where he is just taking the traffic lights, taking the stops, passing through the intersections. Again, these are live pictures of Chopper 4 over the vehicle. Miami-Dade police are also following this vehicle and the driver by air. We have not seen many police officers on its tail. They're keeping their distance. But right now, it appears he's in a residential area there in Florida City. Am I correct? This is Florida City? Mm-hmm. We're confirming this is Florida City, a residential neighborhood. And again, not many vehicles on the road, so that is a good thing. But he is slowing down right now. We did see him. Oh, he's slowing down right now. They're bailing out of the car. There's four suspects that are bailing out right now. There they are. They're passing a building, heading into a building right now behind an apartment building. And there you see a wooded area. Again, we saw four suspects bailing out of that vehicle. It came to a screeching halt. Smoke was coming out of the vehicle, and four suspects bailed out of the car. There you see, that's Miami-Dade police. The suspects in that wooded area. We see them behind a building, behind two buildings. Right now, yes, this is Florida City. So again, once again, you're taking a live look. This all began as a police pursuit. It began down south. We want to say about 20, 30 minutes ago. There you have police officers searching for those suspects that bailed out of a white Dodge Charger. We saw that Dodge Charger speeding on the turnpike, heading north. They got off, made a U-turn, got back on, and headed south. When this all began, we were hearing that this may have started in Florida City. We don't know the circumstances and why police were following this vehicle, but they drove back on the turnpike, headed south. And right now, can we see exactly where they are? Can we see that sign if we can zoom in to see exactly where it is?
13th Street and 5th Avenue.
13th Street and 5th Avenue in Florida City. These are live images right now. We're seeing this as same time as you all are seeing it. We're trying to contact Miami-Dade police to figure out exactly why this started. So if you do live in this area, stay indoors. Again, this is in Florida City. Do we see the sign again where this is all happening? There you see. Is that Florida City police that are there, along with Miami-Dade police? There are several suspects that bailed out of that vehicle. We saw at least four running out of the car, a white Dodge Charger. You have Miami-Dade police along with Florida City, and there's also several people out in the street at this point. So we believe they're still searching for those suspects because we have not seen them. We did see they ran into a wooded area behind two of those buildings right now where we're zooming in to that field, right? You can see some of the police officers that are looking for these suspects. And we're trying to confirm exactly how this started and why this chase began, in the first place. Again, we believe it began in Florida City. This all started, it must have been just before 1 o'clock this afternoon, a white Dodge Charger. We saw him speeding on the turnpike. It appears they have one of the suspects at this point in custody, a suspect in a white. No, that is not a suspect. I apologize. That's someone on a bicycle. But more police officers from Miami-Dade as well as Florida City are there on the scene. They're scouring that entire area. It's a very big area. There's a lot of wooded area. There you see the police officers. Seems like they're closing in to where the possible suspects are. It's farmland down there in Florida City. Elliot Rodriguez is also joining me live. Elliot, are you there?
And we caught this chase when the suspects were first going northbound on the Florida Turnpike. As Maribel mentioned, this started in Florida City. They went northbound on the Turnpike, made a U-turn, and then went southbound all the way down to where the Turnpike ends at US 1. They then went into Florida City, hung a right, and at an intersection, they bailed out of the vehicle. We counted 4 suspects who bailed out of that vehicle and went into this, what is predominantly an agricultural area on 13th Street and 5th Avenue in Florida City. And what we have is the Miami-Dade Police, Florida City Police, and several other police departments right now combing that agricultural area looking for these suspects who went into that wooded area behind a building to try to get away. 2 of them went in one direction. It looked like 2 others went in a different direction. Maribel?
We're just being told that they have one of the suspects in custody at this point. There you see several Miami-Dade police officers as well as Florida City. Just a few minutes ago, they did apprehend one of those suspects. I can't tell you, and we saw it live. Chopper 4 was over the scene when that Dodge Charger, that white Dodge Charger, drove into this neighborhood there in Florida City. And there were 4 suspects that we saw bailing out of the car, running into a wooded area behind 2 buildings there in Florida City. Is an agricultural area, so there's lots of trees. But they did apprehend one of the suspects.
There's 2 people. There are 2 people in custody right now, Maribel. And you're right. We saw 4 guys bail out of that white Dodge Charger. 2 of them went in one direction. 2 of them went in the other direction. And right now, police, Miami-Dade Police, and also Florida City Police apparently have 2 people in custody. But they are swarming this area, agricultural, and as you mentioned, a little wooded area there with some apartment buildings nearby. Apparently, this is where this whole situation started in Florida City before the suspects got into that white Dodge Charger, first going northbound on the Turnpike, then turning around and leading police on a chase, a very high-speed and dangerous chase southbound on the Turnpike, which ended at US 1. Basically, they stayed on US 1 for a few miles before making a right turn, going a little bit into a residential area, and then bailing out of that car, leaving it right in the middle of an intersection. But yeah, they have 2 suspects in custody right now that are being put into police cruisers. And as far as we can tell from our vantage point right now from Chopper 4, they are still looking for 2 suspects in Florida City, and this is on 13th Street and 5th Avenue in Florida City. Again, this was a white Dodge Charger that was the subject of a chase on the Florida Turnpike involving Miami-Dade Police, Florida City Police as well. Police were at first not following closely in their cars, but rather were following these suspects by air, keeping good track of them. When they got off the Turnpike at US 1 in Florida City, then police were behind them until they got into this residential area where we are right now, with 2 of the suspects in police custody, and we believe that 2 of them are still hiding out or on the run right there in that area. You see a lot of folks who live in that area coming out to see what is going on. There is a lot of police activity there. We can tell you that there have been no shots fired that we know about. A lot of police officers out there looking for these 2 suspects. Again, 2 of them have been taken into custody. It looked pretty much without much of an incident there, although they did bail out of that car quickly. Maribel?
Yeah, Elliot, we have just confirmed from Florida City Police as well as Miami-Dade Fire that earlier this afternoon there were shots fired at this location, and that could be the possibility why police were looking for these suspects, because apparently we're told that the chase began in Florida City. The 4 suspects in that Dodge Charger took off. They went onto the Turnpike. They were heading north. At one point, they got off the Turnpike, made a U-turn, and headed back to Florida City. And that's when we saw them just a few minutes ago stopped in that neighborhood, which is on Northwest 5th Avenue and 13th Street, where you see several Miami-Dade police officers as well as Florida City Police. And we can tell you that 2 of those suspects are in custody at this point. However, we do believe they're still looking for those 2 other suspects that we saw earlier bailing out of the car and running into a wooded area behind two buildings there.
Yeah, and you and I are watching this unfold live. Very dangerous driving that was taking place on the turnpike. I caught it when they were going southbound, and we saw the car going on the shoulder of the road between two cars at one point. If you look in the middle of this picture, you can see one of the suspects who is in police custody right now. We counted 2 people in custody. In all, there are 4. But we're continuing to follow this story for you. We'll have the very latest on our website, CBS4Miami.com. Of course, we'll have complete updates on CBS4 News beginning at 5 o'clock. For now, I'm Elliot Rodriguez, along with Maribel Rodriguez in the CBS4 Newsroom. Let's return you now to our regular programming.